Hey, great day, everyone. Attorney Davis here. So excited for today's chat. I'm going to wait for a few people to roll in, but we are going to be talking today about how to get more reviews for your legal services without bothering people. I find that when I coach my clients, this is one of the things that they are most concerned about. They don't want to be annoyed. They don't want to come off as annoying. They don't want to bother their clients, right? But you need reviews, you need testimonials, you need case studies to be able to have someone else. You need to be able to have somebody else demonstrate why it is so amazing to work with you. And so when you're asking and requesting for additional legal reviews, it really is a positive thing because it's going to better position you in front of the minds of your clients. And so today, that's what we're talking about. And the reason why a lot of people just do not have any type of client feedback, any testimonials, anything like that is because it's simply not a part of your process. It is an afterthought. You are so concerned and busy with acquiring the client, making sure that you now have, them on board and getting them into your CRM and actually delivering the service that you do not have anything within your existing process that asks them for feedback throughout the entire experience. Most people will wait until the end of actually giving the service to even ask for feedback. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that you can make as an attorney and a service provider by asking for feedback at the end, particularly if you have, you know, um, particularly if you have like a type of service that takes a really long time to actually deliver, right? And so if you are asking casually without automations, or if you ask at the conclusion of service delivery, this is the reason why you're not getting testimonials from clients and you're not building a rapport with them that makes them actually want to provide you with feedback. And so it's not working because it's not a part of your process. So I wanted to share some really interesting stats with you all to really emphasize why this is so important for you to get testimonials from clients before I share with you how you need to do it. First of all, the data will deliver you. One of my company's core tenets, I have 6, but one of our company's core tenets is that we make data-driven decisions that deliver results. Again, we make data-driven decisions that deliver results. And so those particular decisions help me and help those who are data-driven lawyers make decisions, not from their heart, not from their head, but from what the metrics will tell you. And so here's some really great statistics, some from BigCommerce, some from Nielsen. BigCommerce says 92% of customers read online reviews before buying. And this goes the same with attorneys. They are going to look at how people view you in the public. It's not going to be enough that, on your social media feed that is curated and tailored to the message that you want to send. They're going to look for independent reviews like Google reviews. They even may look for other testimonials and what other people have said about you. But I know that Google is a really great thing. And even Facebook, people are going to much more likely look at Google. I haven't found that a lot of people are looking at Yelp for attorneys, not saying that it doesn't matter, but Google is one of the ways and places that you can really focus on, because when people search for your law firm, or if someone says, hey, you should go with this attorney, they're likely going to Google you or try to find you. And your Google reviews are the things that are going to pop up first. And so that's really important that the public facing testimonials that you have are on point, right? 72% of consumers say positive testimonials and reviews increase their trust in business. 70% of people trust reviews and recommendations from strangers. I know this to be true, even though it's anecdotal, because I've trusted the reviews and recommendations from strangers when it came to hiring service providers myself, right? And so when you become and you deal with a more sophisticated client, because there's 5 different ways, 5 different levels of market sophistication that I talk with my students about, and it's not a concept that I created. But when you're looking at a sophisticated market, sometimes people are not going to exclusively rely upon a recommendation from a stranger. They're going to dive deeper. And so you have to make sure that your law firm is maturing with the market. You have to be able to market and make sure that your content and everything that you produce is positioned for the eye of a mature and sophisticated buyer. Um, 88% of consumers say reviews influence their online purchasing decisions. Another good one, 97% of business to business customers, B2B customers, cited testimonials and peer recommendations as the most reliable type of content. This is why I love case reviews and case studies with my clients. And oftentimes, I am not the one who's conducting the case review. I have a third party, meaning someone on my staff, asking them these questions about their experience, and then they're able to share it from their own viewpoint. And so now you understand why it's important to have online reviews. Really, the data is really telling us that. And now we're going to talk about why you're not getting them yourself and what you need to do. And again, if you are just casually asking for a client to leave a testimonial, like, hey, can you email me back your feedback? Can you let me know what it was like did you like this experience? Instead of saying, hey, can you take this 60-second survey? Can you give us feedback on this particular thing? Then that's the thing that you need to start doing. I would even challenge you to begin to request feedback at each stage of your process, which is what we have started to do. Like feedback at critical moments within the process to be able to see what my clients like and don't like in there so I can course correct. I would rather ask my client for feedback after intake or after they've received their first draft, right? As opposed to the end when I've delivered it. Because if there's something that's going wrong and they don't like a particular part of the process, you can figure it out right then and there. And this is how you become a data-driven lawyer, someone who's going to really be, who has really, really, really great systems and systems that are responsive to what the clients need. Far too often when you become so good at what you do and you become like, you know the law, you've moved past the point of, oh my gosh, I'm going to make all these mistakes, but you know the statutes, you know case law, you know how opposing counsel acts. You, like for me, I know how trademark examiners are moving and operating. I know their mindset, their psyche. I can incorporate that into how I'm strategically advising my clients and partnering them to help make executive level decisions. When you become the expert that you have strived so hard to become, you are in danger zone. And I mean that so seriously. When you really know what you're doing and the market, and I mean the public, people who know you in your industry, they see you at a higher level, it is dangerous for you because when you become in the know, you become further away from what it's like for a client to experience you for the first time. You become further and distance away from someone who's never hired an attorney before. And now you're thinking at a level where you're so, I don't want to say high and mighty, but you're just such an expert, which is what you have been trained to become. And you should be very proud of yourself. Now you've forgotten what it's like for someone who's scared and has never done this before. Now you've forgotten that. And so not asking for that feedback is going to basically leave you blind. When you become blind, that's not a good position for you to be in as the expert. Hey guys. All right. And so this is the reason why asking for feedback strategically placed throughout your customer cycle is one of the best things that you can do, because you're going to be able to become that lawyer who has their stuff together, who's really meeting the client's needs at every single level, right? And so what you need to do in order to get more reviews without bothering people is, and I love doing this, I have drafted recommended language for my clients to assist them with leaving a review. So now what I do is not only am I asking for feedback throughout the process, I then say, hey, I'm sending you an email. I'm thanking you for hiring me. I would really appreciate you leaving me a 5-star Google review, because you doing that helps me get in front of more clients just like you that I can help as well. And here is to help you and aid you in this. I've drafted just a few examples of reviews, right? And you can change or update these every 90 days and tell them, feel free to, take this as a template and begin to draft and, deviate from it slightly or customize it. But me having about 5 to 10 responses for clients to pick and choose from based on the service that they got has increased the reviews that I'm getting publicly. Why? I'm already helping people overcome procrastination, because when you ask someone to leave you a review, you have to think about, what am I going to say? How is it? What is that going to be looking like? I've already done the work for you. I've drafted a review that you can use and really get started from. So now that they're looking at these templated reviews, they get to pick and choose what they want, and then they customize it. Right? It's counterintuitive. It's not something that people would most likely think to do. They're only saying, hey, can you leave me the review? I took it a step further, and I'm like, hey, here's some language that you can actually put in here, right? And customize yourself. And people quickly were able to take what I recommended, take the draft language for the review and testimonial, and then they customize it. No, I'm not, and for me, that's helping a means to an end by supporting the client with the words or the language that could inspire them, And so that is so helpful when they see that and they experience it, and they're like, okay, yeah. Give them also the direct link to the platform you want them to leave the review on. Don't say, can you just go to Google and leave me a 5-star review? And then you don't give them the Google link. Now you're creating more work for them, and they may not want to do it, or it's easy for them to get distracted, right? The other thing that I say is, if there's something that we did that would make you give us any less than 5 stars, before you leave the review, please talk to me, right? So now it's an opportunity for me to do damage control before there's any public damage. So if someone says, I would probably give you guys a 3, let me get on the phone and talk with you about that. I want to hear about your experience. What would make you give it a 3? Tell me more about that. Some of us are so frightened from feedback because we interpret feedback that is less than 5 stars, that is less than perfect, as we're a failure. And we have to change our mindset to know that that's you getting feedback that is constructive, that is critical, that says you could have performed better. It's not an indictment against your character. It doesn't mean that you're a bad attorney. It doesn't mean that you're a bad service provider. It doesn't mean that you're a terrible entrepreneur. That's not what that means. It literally means that, hey, you could have done better here. I would have preferred to have a greater experience in intake. Every time I get feedback from clients, I turn around, I take it, I implement it, and it's allowed me to have a much stronger business because I removed my ego out of the picture. This ain't got nothing to do with me. This has everything to do with me trying to serve my clients in excellence. And the only way that I can know that is if I'm exposed to problems. And so testimonials and feedback are there. One, you only want to really publish positive testimonials. So I'm not going to tell clients automatically, here, leave me a 5-star Google review. What if they don't want to leave me a 5-star Google review? No, I get internal feedback first. I say, wow, thank you so much. I really appreciate you sharing that. Would you mind publishing these comments publicly here on our Google page and leaving us a 5-star review? I'm going to vet everything that is put out there publicly as much as I can control. Have I gotten a negative review? Yes, I have. Has it killed me? No. Did it make people not trust me? No, because people could tell that person was crazy. When you get a negative review, especially when it's less than stellar and a person is entirely an unreasonable human being, people who are qualified for your services, who are sane, who are entrepreneurs, who are rational human beings, generally, those people can discern when someone is just being silly. They can tell when someone is blowing things out of proportion. But as attorneys, when we go through law school and we go through CLEs, we have a culture of fear that is ingrained in us. And they tell you if you do one thing wrong, you're going to lose your license, you're going to lose your law firm, you're going to lose everything that you work so hard for, because one human being has all this power. These people don't have that much power because they ain't Jesus. Okay? They don't have that. They don't have the power to destroy what you've built. So when you get an online review that may be negative, or if someone is bad-mouthing you, what you do is you can address it, make sure it's in accordance with bar rules, and then you move on. I was reading in a book last night, and it was saying that it's basically a devotional, and I read for yesterday and today, and man, it was so good. It was like having fun. It said loosen up, have fun through the process. Laugh off grievances and problems, laugh off the annoyances. Like we harp so much on doing it right and doing it well and being perfect. And I'm a recovering perfectionist. I'm a recovering procrastinator. So I'm speaking like I am that person that I'm speaking to, right? And so I've had to realize like none of this stuff is really an indictment against my character. I had someone tell me that he was like, the person said, I'm really disappointed in how you run your business. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? And it was a client. So I got on the phone with him and, I said, I addressed, first and foremost, I addressed the legal concern and I fixed and remedied the problem. And then I said, hey, I saw your email and I saw that you shared that you were really disappointed in how I ran my business. I really want to have a discussion with you about that right now and get your feedback on why you said that. He was like, right now? Like, do you want me to send it in an email? I said, no, I prefer to have a conversation. Because if you're telling me that you're disappointed in how I'm doing something, then that to me indicates that the problem is systemic. So if it's a systemic problem, meaning you have more than one issue, I need to really figure out what is going on. And I would love for you to tell me because I want to be great. And I'm going to be great. And you can help me do that. And so we had a great conversation. He shared with me there were some things that a previous staff person did or said, and he kind of made him feel a certain type of way. You have to understand that we're in a feeling business. If you're providing one-on-one services to people, you have to really be in tune with their emotions. And I'm not saying you're responsible for their emotions, but you have to run your businesses if you are in tune with their emotions. And getting that regular feedback helps you be in tune with your client's emotions. And so we had a wonderful conversation. I was able to apologize. I was able to give him clarity about what was going on. I shared with him the next steps of how I was going to improve based on his feedback and how he was going to make me better. And then I said, what more can I do with you? What can we do? And now we're going to do something else together. So I'm going to be able to, collaborate with him on some stuff. He's going to support me. And so instead of it being a relationship that is completely destroyed because my ego got in the way, it's now been preserved. He's now very, very happy. He probably really, really likes me, dare I say. He's a fan of mine because I took the time to get my ego out of the way and say, hey, can you share with me how you feel? I want to hear from you how our services made you feel, because I don't want you to feel like that ever again, nor anyone else. And that's how you conduct damage control from a practical standpoint. That's how you take feedback in and you immediately implement it for your good and for the good of your business. And you don't shy away from the fact that someone's disappointed. Again, I'm not saying that you're responsible for people's emotions, but you must, as a leader and as the CEO of your law firm, be in tune with your clients' emotions, particularly in how they're receiving services from you, especially if the service that you're providing is highly emotional and you're dealing with highly emotional people. And so you have to make sure that your mindset is intact and that you have benchmarks and things like that set up in your firm that is going to help you provide great process improvement and an overall great client experience and customer experience. So again, if you are asking for reviews throughout key points within your process, you're going to be able to get great feedback, real-time feedback where you can improve. For example, I have a couple of things that I do in my firm and a couple of different types of services. And some might take a week, some could take 3 weeks. And there's certain key phases within the service delivery. So I want you to map out your services, right? Map out your services, map out those particular phases within the service itself and say, is this a natural point where the client has provided me with something? And because they provided me with something, now they can move to the next phase. If that is the case, then that is a natural touch point for you to ask for feedback at that particular point in time. That is a perfect opportunity. So an example, after intake is conducted, that's a perfect opportunity for you to ask for feedback, especially if you are not the one doing the intake. That way you can see how well your team members are performing with intake. The next thing is, if you like, after I file a trademark application, how is your experience with that? How would you rate us on a scale of 1 to 5? What can we do to improve, right? That's where I find out, oh man, I had something wrong in my process that was not clear. And I went back and I fixed it because a client did not have the best intake or overarching experience from onboarding to filing, right? We cannot shy away from feedback. You need all of it to grow, all of it. And then if you're doing this throughout the process and it is automated, and I mean, seriously, your CRM has to perform to the level of excellence in which you're growing and going. I use Lawmatics right now. Some people don't like Lawmatics, but I need Lawmatics for the data. Now, everybody, I tried Clio in 2017, left a bad taste in my mouth. I'm not a fan of Clio, but it could have matured within the past 6 years. I used to use Dubsado. That's not even a legal CRM. That's what I needed. But now Lawmatics has what I need in terms of automations, data, reporting, etc. And they got like a seed round about a year ago. And so they're improving their overall system, right? And so you got to make sure that your CRM supports you and what it is that you're striving to do. So again, how to get more reviews without annoying people. Make it a part of your process and make sure you have a plan for the review. I don't read every review. Somebody on my team reads a review. And sometimes it's a who, not a you. You don't have to do everything. So who on your team is going to be responsible for reviewing those reviews and then saying, hey, here's positive. I really think this was great. Here's a negative one. I'm going to escalate that to you so you can fix it right now. My team knows what to do when we get a negative experience internally. Escalate that to Attorney Davis, because Attorney Davis handles the damage control stuff and she handles the money stuff. Let's make sure that she can do her job well, right? Map out your process and then begin to highlight within the process where there are certain touch points where naturally this would be a good place for you to ask for client feedback. And it doesn't have to be a 20-question survey. Like, it could be 1 to 2 questions. How would you rate this particular phase or your experience thus far? How would you rate your intake on a scale of 1 to 10? What could we have done better, right? How would you rate your drafting phase on a scale of 1 to 10 or 1 to 5 or whatever, right? All right. And then when you are ready and a client says, yes, I would love to give you a 5-star review, say, thank you so much. We would like for you to leave this review on this platform. And to aid you in this, here's some draft language we provided to you that you can look to for inspiration to help expedite the review. Take the time to draft the language and then update it quarterly. Update the language quarterly. And you need to consider automating the process and delegating to a team member to track and follow up for you, right? So if someone is going to be over sending out the review, if they say, yes, I'll give you 5 stars, okay, now you have someone internally on your team responsible for that, and that's one of their KPIs. So this is how you can get reviews without annoying people and without bothering people. Make it a part of your process and your company culture to get feedback and share with them, listen, this really helps us. We have an open door policy. I tell my clients, you have an open door policy when you come in here with me, and I want your feedback. Even if you think it's going to hurt my feelings, I'll get over it. Don't worry about my feelings. I'll handle my feelings. It's not up to my clients to not hurt my feelings. People who are upset with you are going to be the most honest with you. I have found continuously, time after time, that when I get client feedback, I'm able to improve, I'm able to grow, I'm able to be better. All right, so listen, I hope that this was incredibly helpful to you. Again, it was geared mostly towards attorneys because that's who I coach, but any type of service provider could have benefited from this information. If you are interested in working with me one-on-one and you are an attorney and you have a law firm and you are getting one-on-one private pay clients and you are tired of going into this feast to famine cycle and you're ready to have an automated law firm that actually supports you, you can set up a strategy call with me. That link will be dropped in the comments, and it is also going to be on Instagram within the within my bio. So take a look at that. Get on my calendar. I have limited spaces this month, and my next coaching cohort is going to start up in May. And so I've had several people say they're interested in working with me, and this is the way that you can do it, by working with me one-on-one. And so we can talk about, and primarily what I do is I am helping busy lawyers get more automated leads without having to sacrifice time, effort, or energy. And not only doing that, but naturally scaling into and transitioning into what that looks like internally within your law firm. How are your client attraction funnels working? But then also, what does it look like internally when you are providing support to clients and they are having a wonderful experience with you? And then what does that look like when you're building out a team that's actually going to support you? Because for most people, most of the attorneys who work with me, the life as a lawyer is right now, presently, is not what they expected it to be. And so we create the life that you want. It's not a matter of, you know, hey, this is a woe is me type thing. These are people who really want to change and make sure that their law firms are mature, that they are clockwork, that they are working for them in all areas and aspects so they can enjoy the time freedom that they deserve. Okay? So if you're interested in working with me, my program is called Funnel Cake, because I believe that funnels should be easy. And I'm talking about client attraction funnels. I'm speaking about internal funnels with clients. I'm speaking about the team funnel as well. What does that look like when a team is supporting you? So this is a holistic coaching program for high performing attorneys who really want to turn their practice into an automated engine. Okay, so I'm looking forward to speaking with you all. Now, tune in on Wednesday, because Wednesday we are going to be talking about the 5 types of lawyers who need to revamp their client attraction strategy. So the 5 types of lawyers who need to revamp their client attraction strategy. I'll be doing that Wednesday at 1 o'clock. And so I will be chatting with you all soon. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I look forward to speaking with you all.